So we have just arrived at Edinburgh Airport. Our bags are now checked in and our flight only goes twice a week from the UK, so we better not miss it. So we're going to head to the gate now. Hi everyone and welcome to our channel. We are Hannah and Jonny, also known as Finding Our Adventure. In 2020 we converted our Ford Transit to live in full time. Since then, we've been on an endless adventure with our two cats, Tia and Skye, exploring, living and working in our tiny home. Join us each week for a new episode of Finding Our Adventure. Good morning. So we have already been on two trains.
Three trains.
This is the third train this morning, and we tried to get on an earlier train to Edinburgh, but we didn't manage to do that because it was actually the wrong company. And Mark from Cross Country Trains was really helpful. He let us on and then realised that we couldn't carry on further. He let us on first class for a little bit and then we had to carry on, get off at York, and now we're on an earlier train to Edinburgh, which is really good because it's a bit tight from our train to the airport for our flight. So hopefully it will all be good. We might have a little bit of time in Edinburgh now as well, and we can just enjoy the journey to Edinburgh, and then we will be flying to the Faroe Islands. So we have just arrived at Edinburgh Airport. Our bags are now checked in and our flight only goes twice a week from the UK, so we better not miss it. So we're going to head to the gate now.
We have just arrived in the Faroe Islands after a very long travel day. It's really good to be here. It's absolutely beautiful. It felt like we were flying into Jurassic Park when we were landing, and I realised that we're probably going to butcher a lot of the names over the next week, so please bear with us as we learn about this place and take you along with us. We have picked up our rental car and we are now on our way to find a waterfall. So it's our first stop of our trip, and then we have to make this fairly quick because we need to go check into our hotel, and the latest we can check in is 9 PM, so we're on a bit of a tight time limit, but it's so beautiful so far. We've got big cliffs, big mountains and beautiful villages, so we're so excited to explore.
We have made it to one of the iconic waterfalls here on the Faroe Islands, and it's literally just a 15-minute drive from the airport, so we thought we'd squeeze it in before we check into our hotel, and it is absolutely incredible. The views here are just amazing. You've got beautiful mountains just behind, and the waterfall is dropping down into the ocean, and you can hear the waves crashing just beneath us as we're just standing on top of the cliffs here, and it is just, yeah, it just feels like we're somewhere out of this world. It is so beautiful. So yeah, we're gonna head back through the tunnel now and find our hotel to rest for the evening, and then we've got an adventure-packed week ahead.
We've just made it to our hotel room, which is really nice. We're pretty tired, so we're going to get to bed now, but we'll show you everything in the morning, and we'll see you guys then.
Good morning. So we've just come down for breakfast, and we're staying here at Harvee Hotel, which is in Tórshavn. We're just having breakfast overlooking the beautiful ocean views and overlooking the island of Sandoi, I think. But yeah, we're just going to enjoy breakfast here, maybe make some plans for the day, and then head out and explore. We just pulled over because I just saw some dolphins, I think, just down there. We just pulled over just so we can maybe spot them again, but I think they must have come up for air and then they've gone back down again. So yeah, I mean, look at this backdrop for a view, it's pretty amazing.
We've driven about an hour north from our hotel this morning to a beach called Tjornavik. We think it's how you pronounce it, and it's probably the most famous surfing beach on the island. It's a black sand beach. There's not very many waves today, but it's absolutely beautiful here. It's got cliffs coming out on both sides, heading out to the ocean, and a few big stacks in the distance as well. This is absolutely beautiful. So we can have a little explore here, and we also think there's some hiking trails up behind us as well. We've just read on the sign that this town, Tjornavik, is one of the oldest villages on the Faroe Islands, and they've also found Viking graves here, which is really cool. And Hannah was saying earlier in our drive that they've been doing DNA tests because they think it's mostly Viking ancestry, but actually the Vikings took Scottish and Irish women to the Faroe Islands, so they actually have Scottish and Irish descent here as well, which is really cool. This town even has a surf shop, so if you're in the Faroe Islands and fancy a little bit of surfing, then they have everything you need. But we're heading back to the car now because we're heading to a new area to explore. I think we're going to head to the Northern Isles. So we have just driven up past one of the other oldest villages here on the Faroe Islands, called Funen, and we're just parked up. We're going for a little hike because it's supposed to be one of the most beautiful views. It's a little bit boggy though, so we're trying to avoid the bog and hopefully we will find a lovely view. So yesterday we left the UK and it was 27 degrees and we've had a pretty rubbish summer, and so having to leave the UK has been quite hard when it's been forecast really nice sunshine, but I think we're going to be quite lucky today. We've got a bit of sunshine too, even though it is a little bit colder, but we've been told by some of the locals that this week's forecast is looking pretty good, and the weather here can be very interchangeable. So one minute it could be really nice weather and then it could be rain or mist and fog the next. So you can kind of see on the horizon there's a few clouds coming in. There might be a little bit of drizzle, so definitely make the most of this sunshine right now. And we're just walking to a viewpoint which looks really, really, really incredible. Have a look at this. So the recent James Bond movie was actually filmed partially here on the Faroe Islands, and the island just behind me here, Sandoi, was where James Bond died, and there is a tombstone in his memory. All of these walking trails have really well marked footpaths, and they all have, I don't know if you can see it here, like these little marking waypoints here, so it's really easy to find. And the tourism board also has an app where you can download it, and it has all of the hikes and trails marked on the app as well, so you don't have to get lost and you can follow it. And also that stops the local areas getting damaged from too many walkers, which is really good. So if you come to the Faroes, make sure you stick to the footpaths.
we've just driven through about 1 billion tunnels to get to this amazing village, which is the most northerly community on the Faroe Islands. There's a beautiful church here, you've got incredible views, and there's a guy cutting the grass. He's got a lot of grass to cut. But there's some really cool stories here. Apparently one of the most beautiful women on the Faroe Islands used to live here, and also there was a shipwreck a while ago, and the British donated their silver, which is now featured in the church just in front of me.
I've just taken shelter behind the church from the wind, and there are actually 18 islands in the Faroe Islands, and they are all linked mostly by tunnels underneath the seabed or by ferries. And so, as Hannah said, we've driven through lots of tunnels to get here. Some of them were nice big wide newer tunnels, and some of them were really narrow old tunnels with no lights on, so the only thing that was lighting up was the car headlights, which was pretty cool. And I think on the way back, when we head back further south, we've got to go through a tunnel that has a roundabout in it, so that's going to be exciting to do.
We are just about to head back to the hotel now. We're waiting in traffic lights to go back through the tunnel, and it looks like they are building a new tunnel, so it means that you probably won't have to wait to go back through. So yeah, it's been really exciting trying all the tunnels out today. We've had a real adventure, and we're excited to head back and have a little bit of a rest time at the hotel. So we've just come out of a tunnel, and thought I'd just tell you about something that's a bit weird that we experienced in the tunnel, where we could hear sounds that must be from the cars, but they're almost like delayed and like rippling through the tunnel, and it sounded like it was coming closer to us when there wasn't actually any vehicle near us. And Jonny described it as like a bike almost like revving and sounding like it was about to overtake, but there was nothing there. So it was almost like a ghost bike just in the tunnel, which was a bit weird. So yeah, but we're now about to go through a couple more tunnels, and one of the really exciting things about one of the tunnels we're about to go through is that it is the first undersea roundabout, and there's some really cool stuff in there as well, where there's a couple of local artists that have created some really cool pieces of art within the roundabout, and they've also got something on the radio that you can tune in, and it plays some unique music that is made from the construction sounds of the tunnel. So we are about to experience that and see how much we can record and share with you in a bit. We've made it out the other side of the tunnel, and it was pretty long. It's 11 kilometers long, and I don't know how long it took to drive, maybe 10 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes, but it just feels otherworldly, and the music that was playing on the radio was a bit creepy. It was very atmospheric, so it's definitely once in a lifetime experience to go through that tunnel.
And it opened in 2020.
And it did. It only opened in 2020, so it's very new. And there is another tunnel also being built to Sandoi, so they are definitely connecting all of the islands up, making it a lot easier for the locals and people who come to visit to explore all of the islands, which is brilliant. So yeah, very, very cool to experience that, and we are almost back to the hotel now. We have just made it back to our hotel, and we thought it would be a great time to show you around where we're staying and give you a very quick tour of our room. So we're currently staying at the Harvee Hotel in Tórshavn, which is basically the capital of the Faroe Islands, and it is a beautiful hotel. It's a boutique hotel, and it was originally a house, and it was then converted into a hotel, so it's got a very homely feel to it. The features that how they've designed it feels like you're just stepping into someone's home, so it's very cozy, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of the room now. So the room we're staying in is a very spacious room. It's got its very own desk with its own TV, and the bed is super comfortable. We sunk into it last night, and one of the amazing features about this room is the curved wall, and it has got amazing views looking out onto the ocean and overlooking Sandoi Island. Excuse the mess, we did tidy it up a little bit so it didn't look like such a bomb site for you. But the last thing about this room is the bathroom, which is very cosy. It's got really beautiful coloured tiles, you've got a lovely shower with a rainfall head, and then you come on into here with a toilet and a sink and a huge mirror just here. Also love how these chairs are like extra tall so you can enjoy the panoramic views from here. We are just about to get ready to go and enjoy the hot tub, which is outside and is in the garden area, and there's loads of seating as well, but I think for now I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the view. So before we jump in the hot tub, we thought we'd show you where we had breakfast this morning. You can also have afternoon tea here as well, but the main feature of this room once again is the incredible views. And there's also binoculars so you can bird watch.
I've just found a stand over there that says free pastries, so while Hannah's taking some photos of the room, I'm tucking into one of these.
So the hot tub is ready and we've got pretty good weather again, and I'm just going to get in now and warm up. I'm very excited to try it out. It's so nice to get in the hot tub after a day out exploring. Definitely feel very tired after making the most of the day, and it's really worth booking the hot tub if you're staying here at the Harvee Hotel. You just speak to the receptionist and they will book it all out for you, and you get given robes and little slippers so you can come on out, and there is an additional charge for it, but I think it's definitely worth it. So we just walked 5 minutes down the road to the harbour where we're going to be eating this evening, and it's this restaurant just behind me which is called Rocks, and it serves traditional Faroese food, and we're going to go find out what it's like. So we've got a 5-course menu, and we're starting off with a crispy cod with a herby dip and also some delicious bread. So our second course has arrived, and we have got sea urchins with cauliflower foam. So I don't know how to eat them, so we'll see what they taste like. Not what I expected. It's like very savoury and very like a bit like kind of jelly-like. Okay, so I'm going to be losing count now of all the courses, but this is our third course, and we have got mussels with a chicken foam sauce. Then we've also got raw cod, which also comes with a turnip, I think, which comes from an island nearby, and it has to be helicopter transported here to the restaurant. So that's pretty cool. So I think we're going to try them now. Like, it's got little dangly bits coming off it. Don't know what that is. Definitely tastes like chicken. That's really good. So we're on to dish number 4, and we've got today's catch with celeriac and the mushrooms, and it smells really good. So we're finally on to dessert, and we've got a strawberry sorbet with black pepper and a meringue as well. That's really good. We've just made it back to our hotel room, and the food was absolutely delicious at Rock's restaurant. And we're going to call it a night, and we'll see you in the morning.
We've just made it onto the ferry. It cost about £20, I think, and that's a return trip, and we're just waiting for it to leave now. It's pretty empty. There's a few cars down there, and it's kind of the first ferry I think we've been on where you can actually stay in your vehicle if you want, but we've come up to see the views instead.
So we have made it to the island of Sandoi, and this island is well known for being a more fertile island compared to the other islands in the Faroes, and they grow a lot of potatoes here. But one of the things that we've come to see is some of the beautiful beaches that are here on this island. We're currently driving to the south of the island, and we're hoping that we will get a bit of good weather. Looks like the sun is trying to come out, so maybe we'll be lucky and get a nice window of weather. But yeah, for now we're gonna explore here for the day and see what we can find.
So Hannah's come as a bumblebee today.
I'm very yellow. I'm bringing sunshine to the day. So we are at Husavik, and there's a beautiful beach here. It's like lovely and sandy, so they've decided to brave it and try and go in for a dip. So let's see how long it lasts. So I just come out of the water and it was so cold. I think it might have been the coldest water I've ever gone in. I could only go up to my thighs and I couldn't go any deeper because it was really, really cold. But the beach here is so beautiful. I am glad that I tried to go in as much as I could, and the village here as well has got beautiful coloured buildings. The sun is coming out a little bit for us as well. But yeah, this island is so lovely. It's really, really picturesque.
We've just arrived at this village which we think is pronounced Skye, and it is a very remote village. We've had to come down a very narrow track to get here, and there's only 10 residents that actually live here, and it's home to, well, it was the birthplace of the first Faroese painter, and he used to paint things such as pigeons. And it's very quiet, it's very beautiful, the sun is coming out a little bit, and we're just going to go explore a little bit now.
So I think this is the old watermill which used to be used for corn, and it's very pretty with a nice little grass roof.
When exploring these villages, it only takes a couple of minutes to actually have a look around because they're so small and there's not really much here, but it must be a constant battle to stop everything rusting because there's some like diggers down here that just look like they're rusting but they're in use, and everything must just be constantly being battered by the ocean breeze and the sea spray and everything like that, and all the mist that we've had this morning. And one thing we've learned since we've been here is that the average temperature all year, well, for the year in the Faroe Islands is between 3 and 13 degrees, I think, because of the jet stream. So it's very similar to the UK kind of weather. So it doesn't really get very cold here, it doesn't really snow here, and when it does snow, the snow doesn't actually last very long. So it's just very windy, damp and grey, I guess, most of the time.
We have made it to Soltuvik, which is basically, it feels like we're at the end of the world. It is a very barren spot of the island, and there was a shipwreck that happened here back in the 1800s of a British steamer called Principia, and basically 28 people on board died and one guy survived by holding onto a cargo hatch, and he basically survived at the village we were at this morning, and there's a little memorial just here by the beach to those people that died on the ship, and there's also the anchors here as well from the ship as well. So yeah, a very sobering place, and there is a lot of there's a lot of kind of strong waves out there in the ocean. It does look pretty tough. I wouldn't want to be out there. But yeah, the drive here is very pretty. Most people actually walk it from Sandoi, and it does look like a really nice walk, but we haven't got the time today because we've got a ferry to catch back. But I think I would definitely recommend walking here if you have the time.
So we've just come across this big knitted blanket. There's a piece of art that's covering this rock, and Hannah was very keen to come and see it because of the big boobs.
Do you want to show everyone what you're just doing? It's interactive art. So we literally were the second to last on the ferry. We paid on the way there, and on the way back you just queue up because we didn't book a specific ferry on the way back, and we've got a dinner appointment, so we were like crossing everything that we would get onto this ferry, because if we didn't get on this one we'd have to wait another 2 hours and we'd be very, very tight. We'd probably make it quite late to our appointment. So thank goodness we got on this ferry. We have just arrived at our dinner spot for the evening. We've just travelled across 2 islands through the tunnel, and we have been invited to stay this evening at Harriet and John's for dinner, and it is a tradition where they call it, I think, like home hospitality. So it's basically where they invite you in over for dinner, and it basically feels like you're with family and enjoying good food. So we're just going to head in now. So we have just had our starter, and we have now got our main out, which is lamb from the farm, and it is seasoned with salt and pepper, and it looks absolutely delicious. We've also got some potatoes with cream, is that right? And a lovely gravy as well. So we're going to tuck into that now, and it smells divine. We had a lovely evening at Harriet and John's for dinner, and we really enjoyed sharing stories and learning all about the Faroese culture. And she also takes pictures of sheep, which I really, really loved. She had pictures on her wall of them wearing flower crowns, and she sells prints of those, and you can also stay at their farm, and I'm very excited to write all about it on our website. So we'll be putting some guides together so you can learn all about our experience here on the islands. So that is it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please do give it a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments what your favourite bit was, and we will see you in the next one.